What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total, and the offer ends very soon at the end of March. Anyways, guys, the market is very, very flat right now. We did gap down quite a bit and see a small dip after we saw Google and AMD dip after their earnings, and now the market's trying to get bought back up, once again trading sideways. But there's going to be a big catalyst coming out causing a lot of volatility for today, so I want to give you guys a warning about this. So for today, it is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. Okay, just know that at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the S&P Global Composites PMI and Services PMI reports coming out. This may cause a little bit of volatility, so get ready for that. But the big data comes out at 10 o'clock a.m. This data is very, very important. The reason for that is because we have the ISM Services PMI, Services Business Activity, Services Employment, New Orders, and Prices all coming out. Why is this important? It's going to give us more insights about how the services sector is looking of our economy, and it's going to help us understand how the current strength of the economy is looking, because this is a very, very important for understanding how businesses are doing, how services prices are looking for inflationary data, and it's also going to be very forward looking when it comes to new orders. So this is very important data. Please get ready for some high volatility once it comes out. It may cause the market to pump many points or dump many points. So I do expect a big move at 10 a.m. This is not like a clickbait video, excuse me. This is just me being very serious about this data. I really believe this is going to cause a big move, so get ready. Besides that, just know that we had Uber and Walt Disney announce their earnings. So Disney saw their Q1 profits increase. They topped revenue expectations, but they are expecting their overall Disney Plus users to decline. So net income was at $2.55 billion with a $1.4 dollar per share. And then we also had a revenue at about 24.69 billion. Everything was above expectations. However, like I said before, we are expecting a slight decline in their Disney Plus memberships. The share prices are up just a little bit, but we'll see what happens as time goes on. Uber, I think, is down right now because even though they beat fourth quarter revenue expectations, they offered softer guidance for the start of this year. It's not the best of news for them. That's why the share price, I think, is down. So just keep that in mind. For specific details, they had an EPS at $3.21. That is still, once again, not too bad. Revenue is also slightly above expectations, up 20% in the fourth quarter. But like I said before, not the best of guidances. That's why the share price is not reacting too well. So what is SPY doing? We gapped down. We touched 597. We did mention that there was going to be like some kind of pullback move that was made. And now we're seeing some buyers defending it. That's what I predicted would happen. We'd see like a dip and a bounce. And we're going to be watching to see can SPY break out or not. So just to be very, very clear, if we lose 598, I'm going to be looking for a move down closer to like 595, close to this 200 EMA here. Okay, if SPY ends up doing the opposite, if this breaks past the 602 resistance, the high of yesterday, I think we could be trying to go for this high right here at 605. That's previous resistance that's going to be retested. Now, I don't know which way we're going to go because we have to wait and see what this data looks like, and we're going to be looking for a big reaction. As of right now, SPY is trying to get bought back up, so we'll see if this is another low that's about to be established and if buyers try to push us higher or not. So if we're bearish, we'll be watching to see if SPY loses 598 to start dumping. If we're bullish, we're going to be looking for a break of 602, and it's going to start pushing even higher. I wish I could give you guys a perfect prediction, but honestly, it depends on this data. So we'll see which way this ends up pushing the markets. I'm going to be very patient on this one. The reason I say this is because NQ and ES are very indecisive right now. I think that the QQQ has a gap to fill above, so it might try to push a little higher upon open, but then we're going to be watching to see, can we break 525 to remain more bullish, or do we end up losing support at 520, the 520 area to start dipping closer to like 516 or below. So will we dip closer to 516, or do we start pushing for 528 plus? We'll have to just wait and see. It could go either way. On the Russell 2000, we look more bullish. This is favoring upside right now. Just in case if we turn bearish, we want to see it lose 226 to officially start dipping to these lower levels like 224, but we're actually above our EMA, so this is favoring the upwards direction right now. Like it wants to go closer to like 229, so it looks bullish, but we'll see depending on the data. The reason I talked about ES is because it's very indecisive. Why do I say that? It's actually in a wedge right now, so it's in the middle, and this could, excuse me, break in either direction. I'm hoping it's to the upside. I hope we start pushing past 60.50 and hold above that. If we do, this could be an imbalance filled towards like the 6100 area. And if we end up losing 6,000 flat, we could be dipping back down. We're completely in the middle, forming a wedge right now, so it could go either way. So just give this some time. On NQ, we're also getting very, very tight right now. If we break resistance at 21,600, we're looking for a push to about 21,750. If we end up losing 21,380, we're looking for a dip back down to 21,250. Could go either way. We're very tight on NQ. So it's very tight right now, getting closer and closer to forming this wedge. So we'll see. Do we break out to the 21,700s or do we end up getting a rejection? It's completely indecisive. So we're just waiting for this data, I would say. So give it some time. We also have Amazon's earnings tomorrow, so it's going to be another big factor. Bitcoin looks like it wants to retest 99,000 and eventually 100,430. So it might try to push a little bit, but then we'll see what the reaction is. Nvidia looks bullish. If we manage to hold above 121, this is favoring a push for 124. We'll see what the data causes, but this is looking a bit more bullish, which could help the QQQ. Tesla, on the other hand, is looking a little bit lackluster. It's just shuffling. Look at the last couple of days. It's been going back and forth between 380 as support and then 394 as resistance, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Might retest 386, maybe declines a little bit more before it tries to bounce back up to about 390. But I did see a lot of headlines about how their sales are declining, so that's part of why it dipped a little bit. But it's completely flat right now. It's flat, it's just going back and forth. If it breaks the 394 area, I'm looking for this gap fill to 402. If we end up rejecting and we end up losing 386, look for 382. And below that, I think this could be declining to the 370s. So it could go either way. It really could go either way looking at this. I would say Tesla's getting very, very tight right now. So I would draw out you could draw out like a wedge kind of like this. So we'll see. I think it's just going to get very, very tight, and then we'll see which way we end up breaking. So we're going to be very patient with this one. Might dip a little bit, retest support, and then get very, very tight. And watch and see, do we break 394 to be bullish, or do we end up losing 386 and 382 to turn more bearish? I'll be waiting for this. It's very indecisive right now. Apple looks a little bit weaker because of the Chinese tariffs and because of other pieces of news that are more negative for it. So keep that in mind, guys. This is kind of like an inverse head and shoulders like structure, but we have to hold 225. If 225 breaks, we're looking for a decline to 222. If we manage to break past 229, we're looking for that gap fill for 232. So keep that in mind. For coin, so coin, in my opinion, it's trying to hold 277.5. And then we also have resistance at 285. We'll have to see if we bounce off this or not. So keep that in mind. For Amazon, we're going to be testing 237. Might dip a little bit more before it tries to bounce again. It's still very, very bullish. We have earnings very soon, but look for a small decline to about like 237 or below before it tries to bounce again. Meta might retest 700. If 700 fails this, we're looking for 691, and then could bounce off that again. It's been holding its 20 and 50 EMAs for a while, so it's still looking very bullish. Microsoft might retest 408, and we'll see if we bounce off that. And then Google is going to be retesting 191. So with that being said, guys, I don't intend to be boring when I make this video. I know that the majority of my viewers want me to give predictions, and I did try to do it in this video to some extent, but for SPY and the QQQ specifically, they are looking a little bit indecisive. I am seeing SPY trying to push a bit here, but like I said before, I'm going to wait for this data, and I would recommend just waiting for it because the market could be very, very tricky, especially during times like these. There's a lot of volatility and there's a lot of trickery that's going on from these market makers. So my view is very simple. Although this market looks like it wants to push, be very patient and wait for this data. It's going to be very important. It'll help us understand what these sectors are going to be doing and make sure you guys are ready just to be safe. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Make sure you watch the levels I called out. I'll give you guys more specific predictions in my future videos, but just for this one, it's a little bit special because of this data. And I'll be back in just a couple of hours for another update. Thank you for listening, and peace out.